The MSP confirms that there are three state troopers involved in the Karen Reed case that are under internal affairs investigation. Sorta. Guys, we have a lot to catch up on. Hello, 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 and welcome to Alexa's Room, where we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, we are not law enforcement. We are just people who have opinions about all things going on in the true crime community, including what the heck is going on with the Karen Reed case. Now, before I get into today's breaking news, first, I just want to say thank you so much for bearing with me. I know I've been traveling the last couple of days and I've been sending kind of mixed messages saying, oh, I'm going to post a video here. And then it was just really crazy with the timing. My flight got delayed yesterday. It was a mess. I didn't have a great steady Wi Fi, and I want to make sure I'm always delivering the best of the best content to you guys in the best quality because I know how much that annoys the heck out of me when I'm watching something and it's really choppy. So I decided at the last minute to last ditch effort to just ditch it and then come back fresh when I'm back at home, back in the studio, so to speak, and can make a proper recording and catch up. As a second note, I also wanted to just bring up that yes, we reached another milestone on this channel. We can now roll out membership perks. So, what does that mean? If you've been following some of your favorite creators on YouTube, you're probably part of some of their membership communities, meaning that you get free perks in exchange for supporting the growth of this channel. And now YouTube said, yeah, you can do this on Alexasrewm. So that's amazing. And I just have to thank each and every one of you here who's tuned in every week since I started this channel to give me this opportunity. But I want to make it worth your while. So if you have any ideas, I'm talking behind the scenes stuff, one-on-ones, potentially in-person meetups, guest panels, uh, membership, only live streams, you name it, whatever you guys want. Any ideas, I would love them. Just drop them in the comments below. I'm going to be cooking on some ideas over the next couple of days and probably start rolling out some stuff over the next week or two. But I would love your help in this. So if there are any special perks, merch, I don't know, anything that you guys are interested in receiving, and again, in exchange for supporting this channel, please let me know. I want you to be heard and I want to make sure that I'm delivering on things that you guys actually want. Okay, so let's dive into today's news. So this was actually reported earlier today, and then a follow-up article or follow-up tweet came out by Ted Daniel as well too. He was the one who first leaked this report earlier today that the MSP, yes, in fact, has confirmed that three troopers with connection to the Karen Reed case are now under investigation. One now being cleared. Now, who was the one that was being cleared? We'll get into that in 1 second. But first, what does this mean? And where do we go from here? So, in an email sent exclusively to investigative reporter Ted Daniel, an MSP spokesperson wrote to him, the Massachusetts State Police confirms that Detective Lieutenant Brian Tolley, Lieutenant John Fanning, who I believe is also part of the Sandra Birchmore case, which I haven't dug too deep into, but there is a connection there. And then Sergeant Yuri Buchanan as well too are each the subject of an active internal affairs investigation. The department respectfully declines yada 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 to preserve the integrity of the process. The troopers remain on full duty at this time, so which makes sense because if you guys have been following any of Turtle Boy's tweets, you probably noticed Yuri Buchanan has been quite the busy bee over the last few days, making at-home visits to certain people who have called up, I believe, Jed McCabe as well as Lizzie Proctor, seeing her job rather, seeing if she still worked at her job. We'll get into all that background context as well. Like I said, there's a lot that we need to update on and catch up on. But I wanted to start here because this was just breaking today. So that meaning, again, on full duty. So they're still in their active roles, still getting paid. No repercussions yet, but one has been cleared. So which is the one that was cleared? Okay, interestingly enough, after state police previously identified, so again, this is from Ted Daniel, who wrote that previous report, Lieutenant John Fanning as being under internal affairs investigation. They are now walking that back, saying Fanning was investigated and cleared of any wrongdoing. This is a new statement they just sent him. So let's read it. Just a follow up with the last email we sent regarding the internal affairs investigation. Now, I was looking, like refreshing my Twitter. I've been that's pretty much how I roll every day. I refresh my Twitter nonstop to see like, okay, what's going on? What's the latest? Like, I want to make sure that I'm getting you guys information as quickly as I can possible. So this was like I think maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more, a couple of hours after this first article dropped that they came back to retract that. Oh no, John Fanning has been cleared. Has he been cleared today? Was he cleared already? And they just kind of use this as a tactic to, I don't know, let people know that, hey, we're watching what you're doing, kind of as a warning. I don't know, or were they doing it as a way to kind of appease the public, almost as like an olive branch move? I'm not really sure exactly what the strategy was behind that, because I feel like if they knew he was already cleared, why would they say that there are three who are actively under internal affairs investigation? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If you were going to go back and follow up and say, oh no, like we retract that statement, there's actually only two that are currently under internal affairs investigation. Now, if you recall too, a lot of people have been speculating the reason for internal affairs investigation with Michael Proctor, since he's been dummied down to a dummy gun and essentially death duty, right? A lot of people have been speculating what the reason why he was dummied down, being for the text threads, the text messages that came out in his testimony during the trial, just all the derogatory comments that are not worth mentioning again about Karen Reed, her medical condition, her body, essentially body shaming her, just being a gross human being, very distasteful. What's interesting is who he was speaking to in that text thread, and one of those people was not Lieutenant Brian Tolley. So one has to wonder, does this have to do with something bigger? Does this actually have to do with the federal investigation? Does this have to do with more than just this case? Why weren't some of those other police officers that were in that text thread, people like Officer Chico, who was, busting his chops about not being able to get the medical examiner to declare John O'Keefe's manner of death as something that fit the narrative that they wanted to push, how it was a rookie move, how if he was in a room with her, he would have convinced her, yada yada yada. Kikowski as well too. Why aren't they being investigated, or if they are, why wasn't that confirmed by the MSP as well too? So one has to speculate that no, that's probably not the reason why these three are slash were being investigated. So let's continue to read on. So just to follow up with the last email we sent regarding the internal affairs investigation, the department's internal affairs investigation determined that there was insufficient evidence to prove or disprove the allegation that Lieutenant Fanning violated rules and regulations by failing to uphold the responsibilities of a supervisory member. So again, that's another key part, is all three of these, Tully, Buchanan, Fanning, they are all one step above Trooper Proctor. They're all his supervisors. So that's another interesting factor to factor in. It has to be more than one. Again, one has to speculate. This has to be about more than just the distasteful text messages between this goon squad. This allegation has been classified as unfounded. The four classifications of an allegation that can result from an internal affairs investigation are unfounded, exonerated, not sustained, or sustained. So he wasn't exonerated, just unfounded. So they couldn't pinpoint one specific thing, I suppose. which is interesting because, again, I believe Lieutenant Fanning was also part of the Sandra Birchmore case. I haven't done a deep dive into that case as well, but if you guys have, please let me know in the comment section below. And if there's more than meets the eye there. So now I want to just bring up this clip, also from Boston 25. Just kind of recapping what we talked about. This was shared by Mazza Media, by the way. Please give him a like if you don't already.
Begin with that breaking news here at 6 o'clock. A 25 Investigates exclusive connected to the Karen Reed murder case. Good evening. I'm Kel Thompson, in for Mark Ockerbloom. Investigative reporter Ted Daniel breaking this story tonight. Ted, you have learned Trooper Michael Proctor is not the only trooper facing an internal affairs investigation.
Kel, a state police spokesperson tells me 3 additional troopers are each the subject of an active internal affairs investigation. State police will only say the agency is looking to determine if the troopers complied with department rules and regulations. All 3 troopers are assigned to the Norfolk DA's office. That's the office that's prosecuting Karen Reed. State police identify them as Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, Lieutenant John Fanning, and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan. During the Reed trial, it was revealed all 3 communicated by text with the lead investigator of the Reed case, Trooper Michael Proctor. Proctor was suspended without pay earlier this month for the disparaging comments he texted about Reed to his friends and colleagues. Proctor admitted in court that his comments were unprofessional, but said that his words had no impact on the investigation. Sergeant Yuri Buchanan is Proctor's supervisor, and Lieutenant Tully oversees all the detectives assigned to the Norfolk DA's office. All 3 troopers remain on full active duty with pay. No timeline has been given for how long these internal affairs cases may take. 25 Investigates has reached out to the union that represents troopers for comment. I'm investigative reporter Ted Daniel for your local station, Boston 25 News.
So that's where we're at in regards to that. We don't know how long this investigation is going to go on. But I mean, what a time, because this brings up, and we have a lot to cover in this video, but that brings up yesterday's trial assignment conference, because kind of as I expected, I think a lot of people expected this too. It was really a nothing burger, just an excuse for, I guess, Bev to get all dolled up for the camera. And for a long time, I really didn't think that she wanted anything to do with this case. She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to have to deal with Karen Reed, her defense team, Alan Jackson. Oh my God, for God's sakes, right? Bev didn't want anything to do with him. I don't even think she wanted anything to do with Lally. I think he was getting on her nerves a lot of times, especially towards the end of the trial as well too. So I kind of felt that energy a lot during the trial. But after watching this was the biggest waste of time. Everybody was saying online too yesterday. This was the biggest it could have been an email kind of hearing that we could have ever possibly seen. And there were people showing up on both sides, people who were, the pink people, as people like to refer, or the media likes to refer, the Karen Reed supporters, which is just like, so like, come on, like, okay. The Karen Reed supporters, as well as the folks who believe Karen Reed is guilty. So I want to pull up this clip of the trial assignment conference. It's literally, I couldn't believe how quick this was, why this wasn't a Zoom meeting when some of the pretrial, even not pretrial hearings, but previous hearings from earlier in the year, a lot of the early motions hearings regarding discovery, some of them are conducted over Zoom. So why was this necessary? Was it just for show? Was it just another excuse for Bev to get all dolled up for the camera? It seems like that more and more. So let's dive into the trial assignment conference and see what the next steps are for the Karen Reed team, what the next steps are for the Commonwealth, and where do we go from here, especially with this big news dropping? Is this all just a big strategic move from the DOJ to kind of push things off as far as they can so that this case can get ultimately dismissed before the possible retrial date. I don't know, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you didn't check out this clip yet, we are in for a treat.
Good afternoon, Ms. Giannetti. Good afternoon, Ms. Reed. All right, so the case is scheduled today for trial assignment, and what I'd like to do is to get 3 dates.
So right off the bat, she was like, "I want to get 3 dates in," and I knew this. I'm like, "There's no way." One, the fact that Alan Jackson isn't even there, she's not going to hear oral arguments during this hearing, even though she probably could have. She probably could have, because Martin Weinberg is the one who's going to be likely giving the oral arguments. He's the new attorney that the Karen Reed defense team has brought on to help with this specific issue regarding the motion to dismiss counts 1 and 3. So I feel like this could have been done today. Bev didn't want to do it today. I don't know if it's because of, again, all of the timing with this. Like, did she I feel like there was no way that she would have known about this. I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, but it just feels like very funky, interesting timing, because it's not like these affidavits have just been filed at the last minute up until, the date of this hearing. Like, yes, there were responses, replies, a lot of back and forth that were going on, but a lot of these affidavits came out weeks ago. So I'm just curious to see why the pushback and just pushing this out a little bit further out, why we couldn't just have the hearing, have the oral arguments today, and then Bev comes, sits on it, and maybe we call everybody back in another day this week. I don't know, but again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Where the motion to dismiss has been filed. I'd like to get a quick date on that. I'm glad you're here, Mr. Weinberg, because I'd like it to be with your schedule. Then we need a trial date, and we need a final trial conference. So I was thinking on the motion to dismiss, can we do it a week from Friday? It would be for oral argument only.
Which is interesting, because remember, Bev does not like oral arguments from the defense. When David Yannetti was arguing about how they weren't able to meet for the voir dire day, when they weren't able to meet with the ARCA experts to prep them before they took the stand during the trial as well too, she didn't like that. So interesting. We'll see how this plays out, but what date is this going to take place?
From the defendant's perspective, yes, Your Honor.
All right, I think that's August 2nd.
I'm
going to be out of state. I return on August 3rd.
Okay.
Also, I have to say too, like, while Yannetti's checking his calendar, why is Lally standing the whole time? Like, the defense table is behind the prosecution. Like, Lally, sit down. Like, I feel like it's just so rude. Like, sit down, dude. Like, are you just so unaware of your surroundings? Like, you're just like, sit down.
August 9th? Are you available? 2 o'clock. Are you available, Mr. Weinberg, on August 9th? Mr. Lally, is the Commonwealth available on August 9th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so that's for oral argument only. Okay?
Like, I feel like he has no reason to stand.
2 p.m. All right, so given the schedule, and I assume whatever I end up doing on the motion to dismiss will be appealed, in an effort to...
So that's really interesting, and let's back that up, because that can easily get dismissed, get easily missed. What Bev just said is, I want to make sure that we push this out far enough for the date for the retrial, because somebody is likely going to, she didn't indicate which side, whatever ruling I decide, it's not likely going to be taken well by one side or the other. One side is probably going to want an opportunity to appeal. So she's kind of just foreshadowing, just kind of getting everything in place, which is why we're going to see how far this retrial date is going to get actually pushed out.
Make sure we have plenty of time. I would like to schedule the jury trial on January 27th. Is the Commonwealth available?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Mr. Eddie?
That should be fine.
Okay, so January 27th for trial. And let's do the final trial conference the week of the 13th or even the week of the 6th. Do you have the calendar, Mr. Clerk, or any of those days?
Yeah, there's nothing, just not the 9th or the 16th, but all other days are open.
Your Honor, the only caveat, I don't have anything on the 27th. I'm clear for that day, but for the fact that I have a Superior Court trial scheduled to begin in Essex County on January 13th. There are multiple.
How long do you expect it?
That's what I was getting to. That could take longer than 2 weeks. I'm happy to have this case take priority over that, but that's.
No, we'll hold it for you day to day if need be, and I can contact the Essex Superior Court judge once you know who he or she is.
Yeah, that's not ideal. In terms of preparing for trial, I can't do 2 or 3 week Superior Court trial and then jump into this case. I can't do that.
Okay? So what are you telling me? You just said you're willing to make this a priority, so we'll stick with the 27th?
Well, okay. Well, why don't we do this? Let's put it on for the 27th. Let me see if I can make peace in Essex County. And then on the next date, when we come back to oral argument, if I can readdress the court on that issue.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to Judge McCarthy, who's the Raj up there about this.
It's okay, that's great.
Because remember, Bev also runs the show in Norfolk County. She's the one who's figuring out everybody's schedule. This is what I was actually partially talking about, I think in one of my last videos, or one of the videos I attempted to upload that just didn't happen over the weekend. But she is the one who coordinates all the schedules. So it would make sense. She probably knows who's the who in which county. Not that other judges wouldn't, but it makes sense that she'd be able to pull some strings. But I think it's interesting where she's like, oh, I thought like you were going to make this a priority. So again, it's just like that condescending tone that we hate, but we also love. We also love to hate. It gives a different energy. It's different from the Ashley Benefield judge for sure, if you're following that case, which we're going to be releasing a video on about that up next.
All right, so let's set it for the 27th. And why don't we do the 14th for final trial conference?
So final trial callbacks, I believe is what she said. That will be on the 14th. Retrial date tentatively for January 27th, 2025. That's what, nearly 3 years to the date that Officer John O'Keefe had been brutally murdered. That's kind of interesting timing. I don't think that was done out of like any specific intention, but I think there's a lot of irony behind that. And I mean, that's 6 months from now. So it does give everybody a lot of time. It gives the MSP a lot of time to conduct their internal affairs investigation, the feds even more time. So that's 6 months is a long time. And who knows, again, if this is actually going to go to retrial or not. So really interesting, regardless of whether she rules in favor of the defense or she rules in favor of the Commonwealth. I think she's going to have a bigger S show if she does end up ruling in favor of the Commonwealth in regards to this motion, because the defense is going to push back super hard, and I feel like that's just going to create an even bigger headache for her. But let's see what happens. let's see what happens. So those are the 2 dates.
At the 14th at 9 or 2?
2.
2.
If it turns out that we have, in excess of 35, whatever motions eliminate still at that point, let us know and we will try and get the whole day. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're at August 9th, too, in case you missed this, for the motion to dismiss. So August 9 for motion to dismiss. That'll be exclusive to oral arguments. So likely Martin Weinberg will be taking the lead on that one. I don't think Alan Jackson will be present. It wasn't really confirmed from what I could find, what I could gather. But he will, according to David Yannetti, which we'll pull up in 1 second, that he will be back for round 2 should there be a retrial. I also noticed, too, it looked like she had, like, a new haircut. She looked pretty, like, confident, like, really, really nicely well put together yesterday. Definitely seeing some, like, different colors and tone. Not that it's about, like, appearances or anything like that, but I thought I would call it out because there's so many people online, and it frustrates me that are just women bashing other women. And if you're that person and you're in this community, like, there's the door. Like, we don't do that here. We don't bash other people. We don't bash other women. It just gives off like a mean girl energy, and it's so unnecessary because it's nothing to do with the case. And you're just lowering yourself to people like Trooper Michael Proctor. So now I want to get into this clip where David Gannetti, this is right after this hearing that literally could have been, that was the exact length. I played it in real time. I didn't even need to speed it up. It was that fast. But there. So this is right after they leave the courthouse. This is a video clip from Dylan 12D and Shauna the Gulf as well on the Alternates Corners, which is shared by Olivia Lambo as well too. So both give them all each a follow. They've all been doing tremendous coverage on this case. And this was a clip that she shared yesterday from their live stream that I just want to play.
I don't know if somebody asked you this. I'm sorry. Is Alan going to be back for trial too if it does happen?
The team will reconstitute.
With Mr. Weinberg as well?
Well, Mr. Weinberg has been brought on to argue the motion to dismiss. No decisions have been made beyond that.
And David, do you expect any other jurors to come?
So no decisions on Martin Weinberg. Likely, I mean, they got the dream team anyways, but I think it was a really good call to bring in somebody local, especially with Alan Jackson being out in California. It's very expensive. Travel, plane rides, getting Eliza Little out here as well too. So I think that was a good move on their team. And I am personally looking extremely forward to that hearing, which again, we will be back on August 9th for, and I'll probably do a live stream. That'll be maybe even one of the first live streams that we do. Maybe it'll be members only. So if you want me to live stream that, let me know so we can all tune in together in real time.
Come forward. I think there are 5 now that you have.
So just backing up this clip a little bit, one of the reporters just asked, do you expect any other jurors to come forward? Because remember, there's been at least 5 that have come forward. 3, I believe, straight from the horse's mouth that have signed directly an affidavit themselves. And then 2 who were informants who learned the information from the intermediaries who spoke to the jurors themselves as well.
And David, do you expect any other jurors to come forward? I think there are 5 now that you have papered.
That's tough to say. I mean, I think that we're happy with the jurors that have come forward out of good conscience. I think it speaks volumes that nobody has come forward to contradict what they've said,
and that's an amazing point. And that's why you get all these people screaming on the other end. I mean, oh, it's just hearsay. It's just hearsay. Of course it's just hearsay. That's why they signed affidavits, so that legally the defense can go to the court and say, hey, can we initiate contact with these jurors and get more evidence and get more information to present to the court to see if there's any merit to this. So it's not just hearsay. So we can get a ruling on this. So we can either push forward for round 2 or dismiss the case completely. It's just so funny to me. It's just so funny to me. So that was a really important point. And again, I'll just play that back too, is why hasn't any juror come forward saying that isn't correct? They've had all this time. It's been almost a month. It's been almost a month since the trial was declared a mistrial. So why wait? And the longer you wait, the longer people are gonna speculate, well, why did you wait that long to come forward and say that's not what the real split was? Why did it take you so long? Did someone put you up to this? Did somebody intimidate you? It's gonna look worse and worse. So that's why I feel like all the smoke and mirrors, as Karen Reed said, with the Commonwealth coming in with the juror affidavit, juror Doe coming forward. That was interesting timing too. Was that a play by the Commonwealth? I don't know. But let me know what you guys think.
She received 2 not guilty verdicts, and they just weren't reported. So we're looking forward to litigating this motion.
So there you have it. Lots of news going on in the Karen Reed world. I know that there is plenty more to sift through. I know Turtle Boy's been tweeting out a bunch. I think he just added Mark Bettero to his defense team. I know that's been kind of like the run-of-the-mill joke in the community. Like, oh, Mark, you should really join Turtle Boy's team. Now it seems like it's official. So that'll be exciting. We'll be covering that too as more develops. But I think ultimately his charges are probably going to get dropped, especially with the MSP stuff that just came out today. So I want to go over one more clip. This is or one more report. This was the one from Kristina Rex from the other day. And again, it's just further. Now, Kristina Rex was in the courtroom during the trial, because a lot of people are like, how do you know you actually spoke to a real juror, a real deliberating juror? If anybody would know, it would be somebody who is literally sitting in the courtroom every day staring at these people. Because remember, the press box was right behind where the O'Keefe family was sitting, which was right next to the defense table. The jurors were on the other side of the courtroom. So they were in full contact, could totally see clear as day who the members of the deliberating jury were. And despite what you think about her interview with Paul O'Keefe, because I have my thoughts, I created a whole video on this, how she was like weirdly flirting with him, it seemed like. I still think this is credible news. And it's interesting. So this was reported yesterday at 8:50 a.m. Breaking, I just spoke with a deliberating juror from the Karen Reed trial. This juror independently confirmed to me that the jury was unanimous for acquittal on charges 1 and 3, second-degree murder, and leaving the scene. So we don't know, again, if this is one that has already come forward, signed an affidavit, or if this is one that is brand new, if this is a juror 6, right? The juror confirmed that the jury was hung on the lesser included charges under charge 2, which was the manslaughter charge. Their final vote was a soft 9-3 with 9 voting guilty. So that's what everybody who's Karen Reed is Satan and the devil and a killer, a cop killer, and all these other things that just are nonsense are rapping about. This is what they're super excited about. Even though Morrissey and Lally, they want to get her They don't want to get her on manslaughter. They want to get her on that murder 2 charge. They want to get her on that count 1. The jury considered being more specific in their notes. This is the really interesting part of this report. The jury considered being more specific in their notes to the judge, but were not clear on how they were supposed to communicate their unanimous decisions on charges 1 and 3. So, I mean, confusion. And I think it's going to be really interesting to hear a different perspective from this from Martin Weinberg when he makes his arguments on August 9th in regards to this. I'm very excited anticipating that. But if that is in fact true, that there was just clear juror confusion in terms of what the heck they were supposed to do and what they were supposed to say, how they were supposed to say it, they contemplated saying something in the note. So why didn't they? Why didn't they? Were they afraid to? Were they afraid to speak up? Did they think that they were going to get a later opportunity to speak up behind closed doors with Bev? Did one of them try to? Did she ignore them? I don't know. Again, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall with that deliberating jury, but at the end of the day, I mean, all we can do is just wait. And see what more and more comes out each and every day. But now the jurors are talking to the press. Are more going to come forward to the press? Are they going to start going to the press instead of the defense? Are more jurors going to go to the defense and say, confirm what we already know? Imagine. I don't think all 12 are, but I have a feeling that more likely will before the August 9th date. What more is going to develop in regards to this internal investigation? Is it going to be one big giant nothing burger? Is it going to continue? Is it going to push out? I mean, imagine getting to the retrial in January with the internal affairs investigation still going on, which I don't think it will probably at that point, but I don't know. That's just my speculation brain. But imagine that's still going on with the federal investigation. How do you possibly call these people back on the witness stand and say, yeah, they're credible? How do you call Buchanan back on the stand and say, yes, he's a credible witness? His testimony is totally credible because he did such a thorough investigation and his hands are completely clean. He didn't do anything wrong. He did everything by the book. What inverted video? Is the video still going to be inverted? Or is it going to be are we going to get an original copy? Is the Ring camera footage finally going to magically appear? No, probably because it doesn't exist. And what about Tully? How do you call him back on the stand? How do you call Proctor back up on the stand? How do you call any of these people back on the stand? The Commonwealth is certainly up for a challenge. Your lead investigator and his supervisors. Those are supposed to be some of your star witnesses. And they're under investigation. And by that point, I mean, some of them might even be without a job. Who knows? Who knows? But all I can say is we're going to be following it every single step of the way. With that being said, if you like today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And make sure you hit that like button because it tells the algorithm that this is important news. And again, we have to continue to put pressure on these agencies. I mean, I feel like with just all the amazing support, all the amazing creators out there creating content around this, all the amazing conversations that this community is having and so many other communities that are way, way bigger are having about this case is helping put pressure on these agencies, on the MSP to conduct an internal affairs investigation because it doesn't just start here. If this just happened with this one case, imagine how much other crap has been going on for decades. for decades, and likely with a lot of the same people. A lot of them aren't super young, with the exception of Proctor. I mean, he's like probably in his 30s, 40s maybe. Buchanan, same thing. Batoli definitely isn't a young man. Morrissey's not a young man. All of these people have got some kind of history, and I'm excited to see what comes out. I'm excited to see what kind of skeletons come out of their closet for sure. So again, make sure you hit that like button because it's super important that more news like this gets shared. More and more people learn about what's going on in the town of Canton so we can continue to support their community as well too, and hopefully seek justice. At the end of the day, seek justice for both Karen Reed and of course Officer John O'Keefe. Thank you so much for watching. And please drop a comment below. Let me know what kind of perks you guys are interested in me including in the membership perks. I'll keep you all updated, and I will see you in the next video. We're going to be talking all about the Ashley Benefield case, which I'm excited to do because that is a very, very complicated case. I am somebody who has personally been through some SA experiences, traumatic experiences in my life. So this has been a very interesting case for me to dive into and be open-minded to. So I'm excited to dive into that as well too. So that'll be our next video, and I will see you there. Thanks for watching.